.NET MAUI Preview 3 is out, so let's go see what this is all about, what is new in the box, and how to create a .NET MAUI application from the command line with .NET New. Let's dig in. First, let's have a look at the blog post that David put out here, which talks all about the .NET 6 Preview 3, specifically for .NET MAUI, of course. And the first big thing that stands out is Windows Desktop is now supported. So if you've been following this and you want to use UWP, then you probably also know what Project Reunion is. And because they have a version shipped now, we can also support this in .NET MAUI, so that is really great. You have to do a couple of things here. You have to install Project Reunion. So the install instructions are here. And then there's a little sample project that you can run, which is linked right here as well. I'm going to skip over this right now because, I'm running on a Mac. So Windows is going to be a little bit tough. But it's great that this is possible, and I will be looking into this at a later stage probably. If you want to me to look into it, then please let me know in the comments and I'll make sure to make a video on specifically UWP stuff for .NET MAUI. But of course, it's .NET MAUI, so whatever you do on UWP also works on iOS, Android, and all the other things, so that's going to be really cool. Now, the other thing, I've made a video earlier on the Maui-Check Tool by Jonathan Dick, and you can find it popping up on your screen right now, or the link is in the video description, just as this blog post. And with that tool, you can check your machine to see if it has all the bits to actually run .NET MAUI, the preview that is. And probably also whenever the final comes out, it will also work for that, because it will check if all the requirements are installed on your machine. And if not, it will try to install those for you. So that is really cool. We'll see that in a little bit. So with this, we're going to install the latest bits. And it will just do all the hard work for you. So that is really great. And then from here, you can see your first application. So then you can just say, because .NET MAUI is now part of like the .NET framework, a first-class citizen, you can just say .NET New MAUI. And you can say -n, so that's going to be the name of the project, and it will generate all the files with you. Of course, this is going to be integrated in Visual Studio as well, but for now, you can do it like this from the command line. Also, there's a link here for getting started with a little bit more information on what you can do. But then looking at your first application, so .NET MAUI has embraced the Microsoft.extensions.host builder, which you might know from ASP.NET Core, where you can configure your application with kind of a fluent syntax where you say use MAUI app, and you can say configure essentials, and you can say on Android, I think we'll see that in a little bit. So that is really great. You can do it in a kind of fluent way, and a lot of people seem to like this, so that is really great. And the only thing that you have to do basically to create your own app is provided with a main window. So you can also go multi-window now. That is something that could not work with Xamarin Forms, but this is now incorporated in .NET MAUI from the start. And inside of that window, you're going to have a couple of these things. So a page, a context, and you can see these are interfaces. So these will be injected through the built-in dependency injection service that comes with all of this as well. Now, another thing that people are probably going to really like is down here, the native lifecycle events. So you can now configure lifecycle events, and for Android, for instance, you can just say on back press. So you can handle that on back press like this. You can write something to the console, or you can do something completely else that's needed, of course. So this is one of the things that you can actually do and configure this way. So you can say configure lifecycle events, and then you put in this lifecycle object, which will give you more information. And we have to work with these things because we're going to be in a single project space. And if you want to use Android specific things here, then we are going to have to use these compiler hints. And then we can say lifecycle add Android. And this is going to be like the thing that you want to handle here. There's probably more life cycles or more life cycle things that are going to be implemented later on. But this is how you can hook them up. And that is something that is, wasn't great in Xamarin Forms, the lifecycle events. So that's going to be fixed now as well, which is really, really cool. Another thing that I already mentioned just now is Essentials. Essentials is also going to be part of the .NET 6 directly. So what you can do now is say use MAUI app. We've seen that before. And then you can say configure essentials. And again, you are going to put in this essentials object. And then you can say, you can link up here all the services that you want to use from essentials. So you can say essentials use version tracking to track which version of the app is installed, what the version number is, if it's the first launch, yes or no. I think I got a video on that, so I'll put that in the video description. You can use the map service token. So whenever you want to do something with maps, maybe you want to launch them, or I don't know what this service is specifically, but you can put your API key in here and it will make that service run for you just as well. So that's something that you can do here, configure with this startup thing from right here as well. And if we scroll a little bit down and we look at this more detailed example, then you can see it for the different platforms. So Android, iOS, Windows. You can see we again have these lifecycle things. So on request permission result. So that was also always an override in your main activity, right? This is now just something that you can do with the configure lifecycle events or on new intent. So whenever a new intent is received on the Android operating system, on resume, whenever your app is resumed. And for iOS, we have kind of the same things, but a little bit different. Continue user activity, open a URL, perform action for shortcut items. Whenever you long press on that app icon, you will get that shortcut menu. So whenever that happens, you can do something as well. And for Windows, just the on launch for now. So that is really cool. These are lifecycle events that you can use for your application and easily wire up all the things here. So that's cool. And of course, more updates to controls and layouts. Special thanks, of course, to the people in the community helping out the team, implementing all these bits as needed, because, these are easy times as a contributor because there's a lot of code that's already available in Forms. You just need to port that to the handler structure. There's a lot of examples here that you can see now. So go out and do that. If you are looking into contributing into open source and maybe something specifically that you love with .NET MAUI, then your chance is right now. So have a look at that. Of course, read how they want to organize this, look at the project board, what is to be done. And then for the next blog post for preview 4, your name will be in here on the list, which is pretty cool. Also, a very important thing is accessibility. And that is something that's going to be looked at also for .NET MAUI. And now there is semantic properties for accessibility. So you will just have these kind of properties right here, and you can say for a label, this is heading level 1, and that helps the screen readers and other accessibility tools to identify how this should be read out to the user or how it should be handled whenever the user has some kind of need for accessibility, and whatever tools they're using, this will help those tools identify what is going on. Also for labels, if you're using one of those fancy icon fonts, then this piece of text is going to be something cryptic, and you can just say, hey, we're going to add a description and we're going to say heart, and now the screen reader knows to read it out loud as a heart. So that is really cool. Lots of stuff going on here. I think Rachel on the .NET MAUI team is working on this, so way to go. Very well done. Now let's see a little bit about all the stuff that we've just seen. So let's switch over to my terminal window right here. And I got that .NET Maui-Check tool installed. So I should be able to say .NET. No, it's just Maui-Check. Maui-Check. Is that right? Check. Here we go. And it should come up right now. Here we go. And updating to version. Well, there we go. And it gives me the command how to do that. So you need to update the tool first. Let me copy this command and update the tool. That's how you do it. It's installed as a .NET global tool. So you're just going to say .NET tool update. You put in the name of the actual tool, and it's updated to 032. So that's cool. Let's do .NET MAUI check again. It's going to check all the things. I've got Visual Studio for Mac set up. It's going to check my Android SDK, the Android emulator also there. Xcode should be there. And recommendation, download .NET SDK 60100 Preview 3. Attempt to fix, yes please, because that is exactly the version that I want to have. So now it's going to install the .NET SDK. I have to put in my password here. Whoops, and I have to do it the right one, because else it won't work. So now it's going to install the .NET 6 Preview 3 for me without having to go find the installer, download all the things, mount the image, install that bits. It's just going to do it from this command line tool. So that is really, really cool. Except for this Sentinel does not exist. Recommendation, create, enable workload resolver Sentinel files. Well, this seems something important, so I'm going to do yes. And then it's missing some other things. So it's also trying to check if you, so the workloads is what they refer to as, you know, for the iOS and Android and also Mac OS and all the other things, that is a workload. So basically all the SDKs for the different platforms. I think these are defined in those Sentinel files. And what you can do now is you can see these workloads, you know, they're synced with now the .NET 6 release. So all these workloads now also have Preview 3, and I don't have them installed, of course, so I'm going to say yes. And it's going to install all these workloads for me as well. So here we go, Android, iOS, Mac Catalyst. And I need this bunch of other stuff, missing SDK pack, so I can see here the MAUI templates, Android SDKs, iOS SDKs. Well, just install all the things, please. Just for your reference, there is a --fix option, I think, that it will not prompt you each time, but it will just fix all the things for you. So next time I will just run that command so I won't bore you with all the details here. Let's just wait for this to finish up a little bit. And whenever that's done, it says, congratulations, everything looks great, including yourself, so that is awesome. Press enter to exit, so let's do that. And now we have everything installed to create a .NET MAUI app. So if we are going to do that through the command line, let me create a little new directory, test MAUI. There we go, so I don't have all the files on my desktop. I'm not even in the desktop, but that doesn't matter. And I go in here, test MAUI. And if we do .NET new, and I think it's list, there we go. I don't work too much with this stuff, so bear with me. Make the window here a little bit bigger. And you can see there's a lot of stuff installed already. And here you now have also the Android bits. I thought I see the iOS, Mac Catalyst, there we go. And there should be, there we go, the .NET MAUI mobile. So we got that installed too. And this is the thing, the short name that you can use. So let's just do .NET new MAUI, and I can say minus name is again test MAUI. And then it's going to generate this template. Oh, minus n is not valid. Should it be a lower one? There we go. It's going to create that template. So this is basically what happens if you go to Visual Studio and you say file new Xamarin Forms project. This is what happens. Well, not for Xamarin Forms, because Xamarin Forms was not part of this .NET tooling, but .NET MAUI is. So if we look at what's going on here, oh, it creates a folder actually, so that's great. And you can see here now that we have a couple of folders. We have a XAML file, we have a couple of CS files, so that is really great. And I can now say code dot. Oh, I don't have code here. So normally you can say start Visual Studio Code like this, and dot means like open it with the current folder, but it seems code is not part of my path variable, so I can't open it right now. So let me just open it like this. Get me a new, oh, I don't need that. Okay, here we go. File, open, add folder to workspace. Let's do that. And I'm going to say here, and here should be test MAUI. There we go. And let's just open that folder. So because it's now all, I don't think I'm gonna get it running right now, but because this is all now part of .NET First Class Citizen, so .NET tooling, everything, you can also run all the things with Visual Studio Code, which a lot of people are very happy about as well. I think it has been mentioned that not all the tooling will be up to date for Visual Studio Code, so you know, you can run all the things, but it's not going to be the best experience. If you want the best experience, you just want to use Visual Studio for Mac or Visual Studio for Windows, but you could do it in Visual Studio Code. And if we go look here, we have the bits necessary for Android, so we still have our main activity. You can see it gives me a little bit of the squigglies and errors, but this is still looks pretty familiar, right? For iOS, same thing, app delegate, but you can see it changed now here. Let me zoom that in for you a little bit, that we have the MAUI UI app delegate. So there has been changes going on here. And I think this is all going to at least show different for you, because this is going to be in your single project thing. So although this might look like on the file system, it's going to show up differently in your Visual Studio. I don't know how they're going to do that, but they're definitely working on that. And here the app XAML CS has a couple of familiar things, but also a couple of new things, with like the I window here, the create window, and again, interfaces everywhere. So it has this activation state, which probably has to do something with like the app is being resumed or started from a new instance, that kind of stuff. So here we have our main page, which has a couple of labels and a button. I think that's the screenshot that we saw earlier with the .NET bot maybe, and a button that you can click and it does a little increment thingy. So this is not very exciting. This is mostly C# code. So just how we like it. So on button clicked, nothing fancy here. And here's where we see like a little bit of the new concepts with the main window. So this is the new window concept, where you can have again multiple windows if that's what you want, but you need at least that one main window. And that needs to have a page and a MAUI context with which you can do a whole bunch of things. And of course, then you need to assign that page to the window. But this is the thing where we were talking about earlier with the startup. And I wish I could have shown you this a little bit, but I'm fairly sure that this IntelliSense is not going to work here. But here you can see this app builder, and you can say use forms compatibility. So whenever you have this forms application, then this will allow, this will enable like the old school renderer architecture. It will add that layer on top of that, and all your custom renders and that kind of stuff hopefully should work out of the box. And then whenever you transition to a fully native MAUI app, then you can remove this one and you don't need it anymore. So that's going to be really cool. And then you can say use MAUI app, and of course then you can start expanding this by what was it, enable essentials or something, I don't know. Like I said, the IntelliSense is failing me here. I probably need to set some other bits up. I will look at how to do that, but I just wanted to show you like what are the new features, how can we do a .NET New with this new preview, and basically that is all that we see here. So stay tuned for my preview 4 update, where we're going to even have more shiny bits. Because let's just hop over actually to the .NET MAUI repository. There's a link right here. I think they have, let me zoom that in a little bit for you. They have on their wiki or something a kind of roadmap where, here we go. High over, they're going to say like, hey, what we're going to do. So .NET Preview 2, .NET 6 Preview 2, I've created the other video on that, a lot of cool stuff, go check that out as well. .NET MAUI, .NET 6 Preview 3, I didn't really see the brushes or the shapes or that kind of stuff mentioned, so I'm not sure, I don't think that made it yet. But the second batch of controls, lifecycle events, that definitely made it in here. And then preview 4, so mid-2021, I think they were planning on, if you look at this, they're planning on doing a preview each month. So hopefully those will keep coming. And for preview 4, it's going to be even more controls and a Windows desktop support. So they actually got the Windows desktop support in this one. So they might switch it around when the brushes and shapes might go into preview 4. I think for preview 4, it might be a nice idea. Let me know in the comments if you agree to try and see if we can take a Xamarin Forms application and port that to .NET MAUI and see what we can come up with, because preview 4 is going to be pretty complete-ish with controls and stuff, hopefully layouts. At least something should show up. So I think it would be a nice idea for the next video on preview 4 to see if we can take a Xamarin Forms application and port that to .NET MAUI and see what we run into. If you like that idea, please let me know in the comments. This was your update on .NET MAUI Preview 3. I hope you liked it. So there's a lot of stuff going on. The Windows desktop support is now up, accessibility all over the place, and the lifecycle events. So I'm sorry that you had to watch all these red squigglies and there was no running code at this time. I will definitely fix that for the next time, and we will look at a Xamarin Forms application and how to port that to .NET MAUI. Or, maybe the team surprises us with Preview 4 and there are some other cool stuff in there that I'm going to show you. But I hope you appreciated this little update for your .NET MAUI goodness. If you've liked this video, please click that like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then why not? Please subscribe right now, click that little subscribe button and ding that bell to be notified of new content automatically. And I'll be seeing you for my next video. Keep coding.